Hi, welcome to the 1050 Lawyer. Give me 10 minutes of your time and I'll give you 50 minutes worth of knowledge. Our topic for today is defamation. Oxford Languages describes it as the action of damaging the good reputation of someone. I want to explain it in detail so you know how to identify it because this is essential knowledge in the age of social media. So even if you're not in law school, give it a watch. Now the two kinds of defamation are libel and slander. Let's go over the definition of libel. Everything printed or written which reflects on the character of another and is published without lawful justification or excuse, whatever the intention may have been. It need not necessarily be in writing or printing, but it must be something permanent in its nature, not fleeting, as are spoken words. Meanwhile, slander is a false spoken statement about someone that damages their reputation or the making of such a statement. Therefore, the basic difference is that libel is written and slander is oral. Before I start listing out the defenses and remedies, let's delve into its background for a bit. I'm going to discuss two jurisdictions, America and India. In the United States, the Supreme Court acknowledges that the Constitution forbids criminalizing protected speech, but free speech comes with caveats. You may have read the words of Justice Holmes. The most stringent protection of free speech would not protect a man in falsely shouting fire in a theatre and causing a panic. In India, every individual has the right to preserve their reputation under Article 21 of the Constitution, which is the protection of life and personal liberty. When it comes to the right to freedom of speech and expression under Article 19, the government can impose reasonable restrictions on this right. As you can see from the picture, defamation is explicitly mentioned as one of the purposes for which such a restriction can be applied. One of the problems with defamation is that it can be indirectly implied. For example, I'm not saying he takes bribes, but his lifestyle doesn't match his salary. When a case goes to court, the initial burden of proof is with the plaintiff. They must prove it refers to them, is false, injures their reputation, and was communicated to a third party. Now obviously you can defend yourself. Let me explain three defenses to defamation: justification by truth, fair comment, and privilege. So the first one which I'm going to explain is justification by truth. If the statement is true, the intention or motive with which it was published is irrelevant. Then we come to fair comment. So this is usually regarding a matter of public interest where the statement made is an opinion based on certain facts and those facts are known to the audience. And finally, we come to privilege, which is of two types: absolute privilege and qualified privilege. Absolute privilege protects even false and malicious statements because they are made in certain contexts and places. So for example, in parliamentary proceedings, you may have heard about this being a defense against defamation. Qualified privilege is when someone makes a statement in good faith on a privileged occasion, typically in the performance of a duty. So if an employer or the human resources manager makes statements in employee evaluations in a fair assessment of the performance, in good faith and without malice, such as XYZ regularly ignores instructions and disrupts the team, then that is not defamation. Even though there are defenses available like these, one must always be careful, which brings me to the next part. libel, slander, and social media. Nearly everyone has a phone and internet access, but very few know of their rights and how to safeguard themselves online. Most people don't realize that their content can be taken to court. An anonymous profile is not an invisibility cloak. Service providers will have logs on the identities of a majority of their users. That is why I want to focus on cyber defamation in this part. So what is cyber defamation? It is the publication of defamatory material against another person with the help of a computer or the internet. The reach is tremendous, especially via social media posts. You always have to be aware because social media platforms like Facebook and X don't guarantee the removal of content. See the Instagram defamation reporting form, for example. Okay, now note these lines. Without a court order establishing the unlawfulness of the content you wish to report, Instagram is not able to act on that content. Stay alert. Nothing in this video is legal advice because it is essential for you to contact a qualified lawyer, but just for your knowledge and in the interest of education, here is what victims of cyber defamation can do in India. Complain to the Cybercrime Investigation Cell of their state. Use the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. File a first information report at the local police station if cognizable offences such as harassment or threats are involved. If not, file a complaint before a magistrate. Depending on whether it's civil or criminal, the remedies can be an injunction to stop publication, removal of the content, monetary compensation, imprisonment. So to sum it up, just be careful out there. Personally, I like the following acronym THINK. So you're basically supposed to think before you speak or write or type to see if it is true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, kind. Think. We must aim to express ourselves in a reasonable and productive way. Leave a comment if you made it till the end and remember to see the description box. It not only has links to all the definitions, but useful references to books and cases that you can read up on. I've also linked my Substack where you can read this article in full. It's free to subscribe and new articles come straight to your email inbox. My next YouTube video will be on the 8th of May, which is next to next Friday. So don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any suggestions or if you want any topic explained, then just let me know. Thank you so much for watching.